Hey YouTube, Joeboy here. So, today I want to talk about KOBY. And so a lot of people say that KOBY is the Garp to Luffy as Garp was to Roger. I probably messed up saying that just now, but you get the idea. But I don't really agree with that idea because I think that Smoker plays more of the Garp role for Luffy. Garp was really famous, aside from everything else that he potentially did, for specifically going after Roger and cornering him many times. It was like Garp had it out for Roger, and within the current story, that's essentially what Smoker is doing. And not so much KOBY. And just reading the story, it just seems incredibly doubtful that KOBY would ever become that kind of character, an antagonist of Luffy. I mean, KOBY looks up to Luffy so much. There was a mutual respect built between Garp and Roger over many battles, but that's the kind of respect that we're currently seeing between Smoker and Luffy. KOBY started off with it. Their relationships have not been developing in anywhere near the same way. Talking about KOBY and Luffy. Could at some point in the future we see KOBY resolve himself to fight Luffy? I definitely think that it's possible. I mean, you can definitely write it in the story, but to have KOBY put his all into it is just not something that I can buy. I can't buy it any more than perhaps a fight similar to Luffy versus Usopp. For me and a lot of people, we really see KOBY playing some sort of eventual antagonistic role against the world government itself. Like, if you can sort of imagine what KOBY did during the war in Marineford, that's kind of what I and others see KOBY doing, perhaps during the final battle. And eventually realizing that the way that the Marines are led and organized and the upper echelon of the world government is flawed and corrupt. But I say this while recognizing that KOBY is an extremely important character in One Piece. Extremely important, specifically considering he is not a Strat. Remember guys, from the very beginning of this story, what is one of the first characters that we were ever introduced to? We were introduced to KOBY, with a dream to one day become a Marine, almost like a parallel or contrast to Luffy. And if I don't think that he is the Garp to Luffy's Roger, then what is he? I kinda see him being the embodiment of everything that is good about the Marines, and in fact a representation of what it really means to be a Marine for most of them. I really do believe that KOBY plays a very important and symbolic role within the story of One Piece. There are corrupt Marines, there are power-hungry Marines, there are cruel Marines, and then there is most every single other one, which is just a person who wants to do some good in the world. They see the tragedy and they see the tears, and they just want to help, in whatever way they possibly can. Perfectly willing to throw their lives away for what they perceive to be the greater good. Absolutely no ulterior motive. I want to be a good guy, fighting with the good guys against the bad guys. I really believe that KOBY as a character is a reminder as we are reading the story that despite the fact that the Marines are constantly antagonistic to our heroes, and they do bad things, they aren't as a group bad people. The Marines aren't inherently bad. And so from that perspective, you can kind of think of the very beginning of the story as sort of a setup for two separate adventures. On one hand, you have the adventure of KOBY, the embodiment of everything that is good to be a Marine, setting out to be the very greatest of the Marines and change how they are perceived and really change their culture. And then on the other hand, you have Monkey D. Luffy, who wants to be a pirate, who embodies everything that is good about being a pirate. And he, like KOBY, wants to be the very greatest of them. And perhaps by the end of the story, he will do the same thing for pirates. Change the meaning of the word itself. But that being said, as I've established, as I've said, as I think everyone pretty much believes, KOBY is an important character, and much the same as the Strats, who are all at some point in the story going to achieve their dreams, I think that KOBY will do the same. I do not believe that by the end of the story, the Marines as an institution enforcing the law will be disestablished, because I don't think that Marines are all that bad. I just think that the people in charge of the Marines are bad people. So one day, I do believe KOBY will become an admiral. And if something like this happens, then I would have to believe that he would need to have some kind of feat within the story in order to give him that rank, in order to justify his future prestige or strength. And right now, KOBY is not all that close. What has KOBY really done up into the story so far? He has, he made a scene at Marineford, stopped the war, but I'm sure that was hushed up. He stopped the Rocky Port incident, which has him now referred to as a kind of hero, but that by itself cannot be enough. And let's say that in the future, KOBY ends up fighting the establishment, making his claim known as to what he believes the Marines and the government should be like. Again, that by itself I do not believe is enough. In order for KOBY to have more important of a role than what he had in Marineford, which is essentially the same idea, is that by that time, KOBY already needs to be a more prestigious, a more important Marine. When KOBY turns his back against the way that things are, the people of the world need to see this and go, wow, the hero of the Marines. He believes that there's something wrong. Which is to say that sometime between now and the final battle, I think that KOBY needs to rank up. I think that he needs to at least be able to attain the rank of Vice Admiral. And I don't necessarily believe only one feat will give him that rank, and one feat will solidify his status. I think by the time we get to the final battle, there may be several key moments that KOBY is a part of. So that while Luffy is gaining the attention of the world as a pirate, KOBY would do the same as a Marine. And guys, I think that it is possible, and this is really what I wanted to talk about. I think that it is possible that Oda has already foreshadowed, or perhaps hinted in some way, KOBY's next feat. As you guys know, in the last chapter of One Piece, we got to see KOBY for the first time in a long time, and his abilities were hyped up as we expected that they should be, but specifically focused in one area which has been previously established, his observation haki. KOBY's observation haki is on another level entirely, and I don't think that Oda pointed this out and gave KOBY this ability for no reason. Do you guys think that it is a coincidence that the first thing that we do as we head towards the Reverie is reintroduced KOBY's specialty in observation haki, and the second thing that we did was introduced the revolutionaries' attempt at an attack during the Reverie? And do you think that these two things might be related in some way? If you ask me, I would say that I do, and if that being the case, then I would believe that as the Revolutionary Army attempts its attack on the Reverie, the person responsible for sniffing them out and initially stopping them will be KOBY, the very next step to building his legacy. If one thing's clear to me, it's that the Revolutionary Army cannot succeed in their objectives of overthrowing the government, because I feel as though that is something that Luffy must accomplish or be the head of. He has to be the one that leads that revolt, not the Revolutionary Army and not his father Dragon. And so with that being established then, if the Revolutionary Army intends on attacking the Reverie, they could possibly be successful, but they cannot be successful in overthrowing the government. So it's either that the Revolutionary Army, this is not their final attack, or if it is their final attack, they will be stopped. And in both situations, I can't think of any more perfect person to be majorly responsible in stopping them than KOBY. If KOBY is going to be regarded as a Marine hero, and probably not going to be a person responsible for defeating Monkey D. Luffy, then I believe that he has to do something special. And specifically fighting Monkey D. Dragon and doing something incredible to save all the kings within the world government. That's big time. That's also big news and something that would be reported, forcing the people of the world, very similar to what has just occurred with Luffy, to think of KOBY as an incredible Marine. That's the level at which I expect KOBY to achieve. And if you want my full thoughts on the matter, we've talked previously about the comparisons and the contrast between Luffy and KOBY. What led Luffy to achieve this new level of legacy was because of events that were a little bit overemphasized, where he didn't really accomplish everything that perhaps the world thinks that he did. I don't think that the Revolutionaries and Dragon, if they attack the headquarters, they attack the Reverie here, they're gonna go down here. It's just not something that I believe. I want to see them have a climactic battle, and I want Luffy to be at least in some part present. I want Luffy to meet Dragon. I think it would be very similar if KOBY ends up fighting Dragon briefly and forces their plan to stop, and maybe makes it look like he stopped their plan more than he actually did. It could be very similar to what Luffy did to Big Mom, sort of solidifying the role KOBY will play within the story going into the future, and emphasizing or reiterating, just like Luffy, that he is not quite there yet, even if the world begins to think differently. But yeah guys, that's pretty much all I had to say today. As always, curious as to what you guys think, whether you agree or disagree and why. Just share your thoughts. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always guys, have a wonderful day.